Each morning, James Register makes the trek across Highway 125 from home to work, where he owns and operates a TV and VCR repair shop in Ray City, Georgia, as he has for over 35 years. In 1960, when James was a junior in high school, a diving accident resulted in an incomplete C5 level spinal cord injury, forcing him to depend on a wheelchair for mobility and leaving him with reduced strength in his right arm, hand, and shoulder. James is independent, hardworking, and self-supporting, and performs most activities of daily living without significant limitations. After graduating from high school, James took an 18-month correspondence course on radio and TV repair, which set him on his career path. Upon receiving his certification, he opened his own repair shop with financial assistance from the Department of Rehabilitation Services. Over the years, James has developed a steady business with a good client base. He currently has one full-time employee and 2 part-time employees. As his business grew, however, he began to have difficulty keeping up with his workload. He became increasingly dependent on the assistance of others to maneuver and disassemble the larger TVs and to set up tools and test equipment.
I was definitely dependent on quite a bit of help. Some of the times that if my help wasn't here, then I was idle because I didn't have anything on the bench to work on, because you could only put one television on the bench, and even though you may not have fixed it, you'd have to put it together and set it off.
This dependence was due in part to the arrangement of the repair shop and the limitations of his work environment at that time.
Back then I had to have 2 or 3 benches, and then I'd have to move the equipment around by myself from one bench to the other bench as I needed it. It wasn't all together. It was pretty well scattered. The telephone was in one place, the fax machine was in another place, and the parts were in another place.
A great deal of effort was necessary for him to simply retrieve tools, set up diagnostic equipment, and maneuver the television sets into place before any repair work could begin. In addition, his workspace lacked convenient storage areas for organizing tools and test equipment. And from his wheelchair, James could not reach frequently used spare parts and catalogs. In an effort to improve his work conditions, James contacted DRS, who in turn connected him with CATIA, Georgia Tech Center for Assistive Technology and Environmental Access, formerly known as CRT. Industrial designer Alan Harp was brought in to help implement some ergonomic and assistive technology solutions to the repair shop.
The overall goal for us was to get a very efficient workspace for him, where he would be able to limit the amount of movement he had to make with his wheelchair. And aside from that, we had a fair amount of electronic tools that needed to be in place that he could reach anywhere on his workstation. And he also had a variety of parts, as well as manuals and booklets and so forth, that all had to be within easy reach for him to be productive.
Alan and the team evaluated the existing workspace and reviewed the various tasks and workflow issues that James faced on a daily basis. They also measured the dimensions of his chair, his viewing height, and his reach. CATIA's solution was a U-shaped workstation, providing convenient access to tools, equipment, parts, and reference materials.
The U-shaped station that we came up with allows him to do a basic rotation of his wheelchair to get to any major work area that he needs to get to very quickly. This workstation was a primary example of lots of things that needed to be reached, and that applies to basically any job. It's whether it's reaching a computer keyboard or reaching a back of a television set, doesn't matter. It's all an issue of being able to reach comfortably what you're working on.
The centerpiece of the workstation is a large turntable powered with a rotation lock on which equipment to be repaired sits. The turntable can hold several televisions, allowing James to work on each piece of equipment as needed.
It's almost like having 2 workbenches or 3 workbenches at your convenience, with all the equipment staying in the same place, kind of like an assembly line.
Another feature of the workstation was the addition of mirrors.
One of the main problems of working on television is being able to see what's on the screen as you're operating on the back of the television. So we installed 4 mirrors that could be adjusted to the appropriate angle so that he could watch the television while he worked on it from the backside.
The mirrors are nice because you can see, through mirrors you can pretty well see if your hair's messed up or the TV's messed up.
Mounted to the left of the turntable is his diagnostic equipment, which can be moved on a trolley that runs overhead. A magnetic tool caddy sits just below, along with racks and rechargers for power tools. The middle section of the workstation holds several rotating parts bins and less often used tools. The left side of the unit is for reference materials with several rotating file carousels and a microfiche viewer. A number of other features were included in the workstation as well. An anti-static work surface, vacuum and heat gun modifications, an elevated tilt-in-space clipboard display, task lighting, multiple power strips and cable guides, a burn-in area for long-duration diagnostic tests, and over $1,000 in diagnostic equipment. In addition to the workstation, Katia made other recommendations and improvements to his workspace, including grab bars for the bathroom and a handle modification for his lift truck. Engineers also designed an orthotic device that allowed James to hold a powered screwdriver without having to grasp it. Ultimately, the device did not work effectively for James. But of all the improvements, additions, and modifications made to James Register's repair shop, the Orthosis is the only device not currently in use.
We're very pleased to see that James has continued to use this workstation for over 10 years now. That's far exceeded any realistic expectation we ever had for it. Projects like the project we did for James allow someone with his physical limitations to continue working well beyond the years that he would have been able to work. The point of doing these workstations is to allow a person to be more productive.
For the productivity of it, it has greatly improved. I would say it went up at least 50%. It definitely helped out financially. The more work you can do, the more you get paid for, because you get paid per piece or per item, and if you fix more in one day, then you definitely get paid more money, and that's what we like.
The total cost for the project was approximately $27,000. This small investment has allowed James to enjoy not only greater productivity and comfort, but it has also allowed him to continue his life as a small business owner and employer.
I really enjoy running my own business. I think I'd rather run my own business rather than work for somebody else. But you got to be self-motivated. You can't be dependent on somebody else to motivate you. I don't have any plans right now of retiring. I'm not going to find myself when I get 60, like the pilots. I just like being a part of the community, serving the people, and you get up every morning, you got something to do. Definitely got something to do.